Hello, I'm Jay, and this is Relax with Jay. I create calming videos that allow you to relax and or drift off to sleep. If you enjoy my videos and find them helpful, please hit the like button, subscribe, and click on the notification bell. I hope you enjoyed this video and may it bring you restful sleep. Tonight, I'll be reading the second part or the fourth letter of the book called Frankenstein by Mary Wollstonecraft, Godwin, Shelley. If you enjoyed this letter and would like me to read more, please let me know.
August 13th, 17. My affection for my guest increased every day. He excites at once my admiration and my pity to an astonishing degree. How can I see so noble a creature destroyed by misery without feeling the most poignant grief? He is so gentle, yet so wise, his mind is so calculated, and then he speaks, although his words are cooled with the choicest art, yet they flow with the rapidity and unparalleled eloquence. He is now much recovered from his illness and is continually on the deck, apparently watching for the sledge that preceded his own. Yet although unhappy, he is not so utterly occupied by his own misery, but that he interests himself deeply in the projects of others. He has frequently conversed with me on mine, which I have communicated to him without disguise. He entered attentively into all my arguments in favor of my eventual success and into every minute detail of the measures I had taken to secure it. I was surely led to by the sympathy which he evidenced to use the language of my heart, to give utterance to the burning odor of my soul, and to say, with all the fervour that warned me, how gladly I would have sacrificed my fortune, my existence, and my every hope to the furtherance of my enterprise. One man's life or death were but a small price to pay for the acquirement of the knowledge which I sought, for the dominion I should acquire and transmit over the elementfuls of our race. As I spoke, a dark gloom spread over my listener's countenance. At first, I perceived that he tried to suppress his emotion. He placed his hands before his eyes, and my voice quivered and failed me as I beheld tears trickled fast from between my fingers. A groan burst from his heaving breast. I paused. At length he spoke in broken accents. Unhappy man, do you share my madness? Have you drunk also of the intoxicating draught? Hear me, let me reveal my tale, and you will dash the cup from your lips. Such words, you may imagine, strongly excited my curiosity, but the paroxysm of grief that had seized the strangers overcame his weakened powers, and many hours of repose and tranquil conversation were necessary to restore his composure. Having conquered the violence of his feelings, he appeared to despise himself for being the slave of passion, and quelling the dark tyranny of despair, he led me again to converse concerning myself personally. He asked me the theory and history of my early days. The tale was quickly told, but awakened various trains of reflection. I spoke of my desire to find a friend, of my thirst for a more intimate sympathy with a fellow mind than had ever fallen to my lot, and expressed my conviction that a man could boast of little happiness who did not enjoy this blessing. I agree with you, replied the stranger. We are unfashioned creatures, but half-made. If one wiser, better, dearer than ourselves, such a friend ought to be. Do not lend his aid to perfectionate our weak and faulty natures. I once had a friend in the most noble of human creatures, and am entitled therefore to judge respecting full friendship. You have hope and the world before you, and you have no cause for despair. But I have lost everything. and could not begin life anew. As he said this, his countenance became expressive of a calm, subtle grief that touched me to the heart. But he was silent and presently retired to his cabin. Even broken in spirit as he is, no one could feel more deeply than he does the beauties of nature. The starry sky, the sea, and every sight afforded by these wonderful regions seems still to have the power of elevating his soul from earth. Such a man has a double existence. He may suffer misery and be overwhelmed by disappointment, yet when he has retired into himself, he will be like a celestial spirit that has a halo around him within whose circle no grief or folly ventures. Will you smile at the enthusiasm I express concerning divine wonders? You would not if you saw him. You have been tutored and refined by books and retirement from the world, and you are therefore somewhat fastidious. But this only renders you the more fit to appreciate the extraordinary merits of this wonderful man. Sometimes I have endeavored to discover what quality it is which he possesses that elevates him so immeasurable above my other person I ever knew. I believe it to be an intuitive discernment, a quick but never failing power of judgment, of penetration into the causes of things, unequaled, of clearness and precision. Add to this a facility of expression and a voice whose varied intonation are soul-sundering music. August 19th, 17. Yesterday, the stranger said to me, "You may easily perceive, Captain Rolton, that I have suffered great and unparalleled misfortune. I had determined at the one time the misery and memory of these evils should die with me, but you have won me to alter my determination. You seek for knowledge and wisdom as I once did, and I ardently hope that the gratification of your wishes may not be serpent to sting you, as mine have. I do not know that the relation of my disasters will be useful to you. Yet, when I reflect that you are pursuing the same course, exposing yourself to the same dangers which have rendered me, what am I? I imagine that you may deduce an out-moral from my tale, one that may direct you if you succeeded in your undertaking, and console you in case of failure. Prepare to hear of occurrences which are usually deemed marvelous, were we among the tamer scenes of nature. I might fear to encounter your belief, and unbelief, perhaps, your ridicule, but many things will appear possible in these wild and mysterious regions which ever varied powers of nature, nor can I doubt but that my tale convey in its series internal evidence of the truth of the evidence of which it is composed. You may easily imagine that I have much gratified by the offered communication, yet I could not endure that he should renew his grief by recital of his misfortune. I felt the greatest eagerness to hear the promised narrative, partly from a curiosity and partly from a strong desire to ameliorate his fate, if it were in my power. I expressed these feelings in my answer. "I thank you," he replied, "for your sympathy, but it is useless. My faith is nearly fulfilled. I wait but for one event, and then I shall repose in peace." "I understand your feelings," continued he, perceiving that I wished to interrupt him, "but you are mistaken, my friend. If thus you will allow me to name you, nothing can alter my destiny. Listen to my history, and you will perceive how irrevocable it is determined." He then turned me and said that he would commence his narrative the next day when I should be at his leisure. This promise drew from me the warmest thanks. I have resolved every night when I am not imperatively occupied by my duties to record as nearly as I am possible in his own words what he has related during the day. If I should be engaged, I will at least make notes. This manuscript would doubtlessly afford you the greatest pleasure, but to me who know him and who hear it from his own lips, with what interest and sympathy shall I read it in some future day? Even now, as I commence my task, his full-toned voice swells in my ears, his lustrous eyes dwell on me with all their melancholy sweetness. I see his thin hand raised in admonition, while the lineaments of his face are irradiated by the soul within. Strange and harrowing must be his story, frightful the storm which embraced the gallant vessel on its course and wrecked it thus.